Hello there. Good afternoon, all. James True here. Happy to be here. Got a little bump on my head. Got a bump on my head. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I got no reason to be here. So we were, so one of my trees fell on my neighbor's, we'll call it a driveway. That's what we're calling what I have outside now. Driveway. If you're wondering how the steps melted inside of that temple in Egypt, it's probably a fucking hurricane. Crossfire hurricane. Yeah. So there's those chainsaws are. It's a really loud sound, and there's no way that I could do a show. So if you may have noticed, I postponed the show, and then right after I hit post, it turns out that the remainder of the things are going to be tomorrow. So so the sounds will continue. The babbling brook of chainsaws will emanate, and I could see that I don't know how to explain to a crew, hey, can you guys stop using can you turn that chainsaw down? Can you do that? That's not going to work. And truly, that's the sound of progress right now. The sound of progress is Blue Jays that want more peanuts, and in the morning, which is kind of cool, and then in the afternoon, it's wandering bands of chainsaw Sumerians. We'll call them that. Wandering bands of chainsaw Sumerians. It's sort of like the modern day ice cream truck, but for old people like myself, someone in their 50s. I hear the jingle jangle of an ox cart, the modern day ox cart, as it comes in, and I rush out with my money, going, wait, hey, 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 you guys want to cut down? You guys want to cut down my tree? And they're like, whoa, we saw you never ask. And so yeah, there's a flow, you know. You gotta you gotta you gotta strike when the iron's yeah. Anyway, yeah, exactly. Planned noise pollution is a thing, and it's hard to call it noise pollution. It's noise progress, you know. And you don't. I wish that my neighbors were as cool when I am making noise at like 3 in the morning. I keep a chop saw on my deck for special occasions. It's just, hey, you know, each of us have our. Some people like to keep a refrigerator on the porch, right? And I like to have a chop saw there. I find it. You can open mail with it. This is a biggie for me. You can open mail with it, especially if you're not really excited about opening mail. It feels so good to place to place the mail down the chop saw. You do it on the edge. You know, you're civilized, right? I'm not muted. I got nothing today. I really don't. I only came on because I've missed a week, and I noticed the chainsaws, and I kind of got excited about not having to do a show, and because I don't have anything prepared, and I think it's kind of good for me to experience the angst and shame of doing that at your expense. At your expense right now. And since I already warned you that the show was postponed, that's what I did. So yeah, I again, another day of nothing. As far as like planned topics go, I am looking forward to, though, going back into what we were talking about before, Helene, which was the last topic was Jesus in Egypt. And I will report something that is related to that. One of our own, a fellow by the name of Jeff Schneider, I've encouraged you to check out his channel. I still encourage you to check that out. I have conducted an experiment where I've actually put him in timeout right now. And I just want to tell you why. I hope that this is seen as a dojo-esque exercise in modern reality. And the reason why is because on yesterday's stream, I put forward the idea that you, yes, you, control the weather. And how come we never talk about that? Why are we quick to say they control the weather, but all of us have our secrets? Looking at you, Nate, deciding, oh, I'll just drop this in the comments. Yeah, dude's controlling weather. And I only told you one story. I didn't even tell you that story. I just kind of skirted by the story. The latest one that I had was actually during this storm for about 5 days, at least 5 days. There is a house with a hot tub back here, and that hot tub has some sort of like emergency heater battery. I don't know. I'm not in the hot tub game, and it may not be the hot tub. It could be something else, but I feel that it's the hot tub. I actually enjoy listening to them having a good time. Honestly, it'll be real late, and they maybe won't necessarily know that I can hear them, but it's kind of like a nice sort of like late night birds, and they have kids and stuff, so you hear all kinds of crazy things going on. But anyway, they don't live here. A tree fell on their house too. Lots of trees fell. If you don't know, a lot of trees fell. There's a lot of trees, and somehow I made it through unscathed. I have trees that have fallen in like a spiral around me. One of them hit my neighbor's porch. I already said that already. So if that's news to you, maybe you just join me. No, that'd work. I was going to say you have a short attention span, but that's not true. That's not true. You actually could have been here the whole time and just, not everyone's fully engaged. One of you probably was like, I need to find a paper towel. Then you go to get the paper towels. You're still listening, right? But then you're like, oh shit, I'm out of paper towels. And you're like, oh, I got more paper towels here. Then you're like, wait, where the fuck are the paper towels? And then you're like, did I order paper towels? And then you pulled up the mobile phone, and then you probably like added paper towels to a list, or some of you friggin' ordered it. You wizards. You look into your wrong screen and conjure paper towels in exchange for evaporated blood that you've inserted into a bank account. You realize that's what's happening, right? You know that. I'm getting somewhere here. I don't know where it's going to go, Sabrina. I'm just warning you. David, you know what you signed up for. All you guys with your stars next to your name, you're putting yourself out there because what am I getting ready to say, right? But yeah, let's dive in and talk about Jeff. First of all, I love Jeff Snyder, and I've expressed to you that there's an orca consciousness that I want to have room for compassionating this. And I explained yesterday how you control the weather. I know I'm now repeating myself, but anyway, this is what happens when I don't have a slide to follow. Is that I was suggesting that you control the weather too, and a lot of people that like that the weather is controlled by people. I think they were a little bit stumped by that. I think some of them were honestly stumped. They were like, fuck, he got me. I think that's what you did. I don't think you'll admit it. I don't think you want to admit it. But I think I kind of stumped you a little bit. I'm just talking about a small percentage of you. Not enough to like, we're not like wearing our Joseph's coat of many colors now. But if you would listen to me, if more people would listen to me, we would be seeing our auric glow. It'd be, none of us would have to, yeah, I could see aura, but I have to eat mushrooms. It's like, yeah, dude, you are not seeing an aura if you have to eat a mushroom. Oh, but that's not true, James. How dare you say that? See, I just did it. Oh, what do you just dropped mushrooms today and you just heard this and I'm just, man, oh. Yeah, I take that back. This is medicine. This is syllabus. The syllabus. Actually, no, this is part of your experience. Oh, God, this is deep. Someone write this down. No, this is not actually a bad trip. This is a hero's journey that you're on right now. Very specifically talking to someone right now. If the person I'm talking to is a dog and you've accidentally found something in the trash, man, you got this, buddy. But if this is like a human and like this is what you're going through, first of all, hats off to fucking me for narrowing in on this sonar and picking up on what you're doing right now. And second of all, it's okay. You're going to be, if it's not okay, if you don't need it to not be okay, it's not okay. Right? Right? What am I talking about here? Yeah, so yesterday I suggested this thing and I made a prediction. I said, the people that are telling you that, that's right, I went there, psilocybus, that's right. The psilocybus, that's right. Listen to the frog right now. That toad knows what's going on. All right. Where was I? I haven't, if anyone's curious, I haven't done syllabus in, I bet it's been at least 10 years. I actually have a sort of a different take on it now, but I know what medicine is, so kind of cool with it. Kind of cool with it too. It's what I call a subtle relationship with things. I have the same subtle relationship with vaccines. The gnosis of the toad. So yesterday, I said that you control the weather too, and uh, I said that people who are going to tell you that they control the weather are going to forget that they believe that they control the weather in 3 days. Okay? That's what I said. I think that's forward of me. I think it's assumptive, presumptuous, dare say arrogant, offensive, bullying, over the line, all those things. You and I control the quantum of how you're going to take me. You know that, right? I know that. Fuck. And that somewhere in between those things are this illusion both of us call the truth. And I'm fine with it. I think about these things more than I should. Honestly, more than I should. But the challenge is that if you cannot hold the thought that they control the weather for more than 3 days, I don't actually think you really believe it. And I'm challenging you right now. Weatherarians, whether they Arians, I'm challenging you right now. And I hope that you take this respectfully, because I feel like that I've tried on this mecha suit that they control the weather, and it doesn't fly for me. That's all. I don't want it to not fly for you. I want you to rig your ship in whatever way is possible. I want you to blow me away. This happens all the time. This happens. The latest class of people that this has happened with for me, believe it or not, have been what I'll say disparagingly is meth heads. That the collective meth experience has opened a portal that's really blown me away because of the fact that multiple people under the influence will see the same thing, the same shadow figures. It's been a while since we talked about this, but I've explained that the vision starts with a shadow figure that's manifested by both parties. The shadow figure is able to distribute collective information. I personally believe that collective information comes from both of those dudes, from their subconscious, because everything that they've ever been told in their entire life has been stored in their mind, even though their neocortex, their frontal lobe, doesn't necessarily remember it. And that when those two get together and they start to hallucinate together, they manifest a shadow figure in the corner as both being addicted to meth and both being in jail. And they realize that there is a person. This is a true story. In not like an ironic James true story, no, like just true story. That there's a person in Portland named Reggie who's at this park. He drives this colored car, and you can steal his meth because he keeps it in this place. And neither of these people know Reggie. I'm not kidding. Jerry Marzinski, engineering's his books. Jerry Marzinski. It's his only book. This is one of his cases. This is profound. Two meth heads hallucinate a shadow figure, create the weather. See, do you see how generous I am with this? Is why I regret that people don't see this, but because I think that I actually have an even kookier belief personally. I think the belief that I have is even more insane. That it's actually not because of how tame I am or because of how conservative, although I don't mind you judging me for that. It's okay. I'm not necessarily the one that's going to want the most tassels on my boobs as they're spinning. It's I like the propeller idea, I guess, but it's like I don't really need that. It's where am I? This analogy is wonderful, but it's not helping anything. So two people utilize the power of mutual thought And what I think happens is the chemo signals, right? The expulsion of their sweat is exchanging information. We've talked about how smell has at least 7 different layers of information, right? Anthropomorphically, what gender, whether you're ovulating, how old you are, what your recent diet is, whether or not you're afraid. Come on, James, what are the other two? How long it's been since you have gone to the bathroom. Yes. And the, I guess diet maybe is one of those. That might have been all 7. But all of those information is encoded inside the smell, and that you know that. But this is just what we're conscious of. And when you have 2 people that really feel entitled to more crystal meth, do you see how this works? This is why I talk about the technology you believe. When you feel entitled to more meth, you squeeze out so much torque that the 2 of you collectively are able to simulate your smells together. And those smells are able to simulate a calculation. Remember conjure? You're able to conjugate a calculation where both of them are tapping into their meta mind and sharing information and spark gapping where the quantum is that would enable their torque to be true. And in order for this to happen, they manifest a shadow figure in the room that both of them can talk to. And by them talking to the shadow figure, it enables the torque to flow, and the information is able to complete itself. And when one of those guys gets out, I think he might have even escaped, he drives to Portland all night long, finds the gold El Camino in the park in Portland, looks for the secret hiding drop spot, scores the meth, and then he gets caught. But, it's not like some of you were like hoping for a superhero happy ending, and, it's, I don't know, maybe that is a superhero ending. Maybe, would he be an arch hero? I'm not sure how that would work, but you follow me. It is the entitlement to belief. It is the insistence that you will have to complete the circuit that makes the circuit work, that makes it work. Let me get back to Jeff now. I said yesterday that people who believe that they control the weather are going to not have that belief in 3 days. And I make this prediction because I think it's too hard. I don't think it's a real belief. I think it's a John... Thank you, anti-hero. Of course. I think it's a John Podesta. Right now, there are 50,000 people on Twitter that have liked a tweet that says John Podesta eats children for breakfast and does horrible things. And no one inside that thread doubts this fact. They believe it to be so true that they say it out loud, and they even rate whether or not you were woken up by how deeply you believe this to be true. When you ask those people, hey man, should we...
Voice is not recognized.
Hang on a second. Wait. Can I do this for a second? Hang on a second. I gotta do something. No.
Morgonen gryr, de djupa skogarna tystnar. Natthimlen glittrar, dimman ligger till. Morgonen gryr, de djupa
Okay, sorry about that. Let me see. Are we back here? Let me see. Main. Are we back here? Wait a minute. Had something. Thank you for that. Had something just voice activated. It was driving me nuts. Um. Okay, so two meth guys to complete the circuit. They hallucinate the necessary figure to allow the information to transmit between the two. And so real information is actually there. Real information is actually exchanged through the tool of hallucination or simulation. To me, the word hallucination is more accurate because a simulation would be holding two realities, and one reality is somehow known but not known, but then the other is a simulation of that. It seems more honest to just simply say you hallucinate. If you hallucinate, they controlling the weather, tomorrow morning when the sun comes up, you're going to have to acknowledge that they gave you the sunrise too. I don't think that you would see this belief right away. And it's why I was talking to you about John Podesta. That 50,000 people will insist that what they say and think about John Podesta is true. And if you ask all 50,000 of them, well, if innocent children's lives are truly at stake, why are we on Twitter? Why is Twitter okay? Why is coming here and utilizing the daily death of more children to invigorate our clergy to decide which one among us has enough passion to be in the club? This is the Liz Crokin effect. And the more outraged you are by something is directly proportional to your level on the belief ladder, and you lead with belief. Someone smells your torque and sends so much prana into the collective hallucination of what other people will call their reality bubble. They'll say this about Steve Jobs. So, well, once you get inside of his reality bubble, he warps time and space. And they're saying that like that's a delusional bad thing. And it is if you're terrified of things like that. If you're terrified of the imagination. Every codex that you encounter through music, culture, vibe, space, even the belief that they control the weather, gives you an opportunity to meet each other. And I personally think that how we meet each other is much more about what we pick versus over whether or not we think it's true. And John Podesta is my proof about that, because I cannot find anyone that will meet at 4:30 in the morning in dark clothing because it's time to save the children from John Podesta. No one wants to do that. What they want to do is report on Twitter or social media how this is happening and accuse you of not caring about children because you have the audacity to not believe it. Does this sound familiar? Has anyone else encountered what I'm talking about now? Now, I don't think this is a flaw. I've changed my whole view. My name I went against my own name to rethink my reality because I noticed how much more powerful and real mythology is over anything else. I kept noticing these things. And when I noticed it, I was shunned from those very groups that I think would have valued the most from me as a resource. QAnon, Steve Bannon. The list could not go on more than it already does. I don't know what that means. It's a long list. This is not a flaw that I see. I used to insist it's a flaw. It's not. It's not. It's a part of our immune system. It's a part of our rendered reality. We have Plato's cave. We create this visage of what we think. That's why we all end up with a two-party system, because it just feels like something's happening. It feels like, everything's kind of organized. It feels that way. And it's simple. It's so simple. Well, there's red and there's blue. And it's really no different than the Raiders are going to kill the Lions next week. And you're hearing the language. You just said the Raiders are going to kill. Yeah, they're going to fucking kill them. They're going to annihilate them. And the language is meaningless in the context that this is a football game. And I believe, and I know this is expensive for many of you. That's why I started this, if we'll call this a show, with this, preface that, look, I don't want to change your belief. I want to have room I want to be in the room with you and you believe that they control the weather. And me not agreeing with you, I think, is showing you a flaw about your own belief. That's what I think. And you feel betrayed by me because I cannot fulfill that in you. And the only reason why I can't fulfill it in you is because I would have to I'm just saying, the way for me to hold that belief is in the morning. The sun has been ungodly helpful through this hurricane in North Carolina. If it would have rained more right after that, it would have fucking been a disaster. I mean, a fucking disaster. And for some reason, it was incredibly warm. It's almost like a gift. This Indian summer has been brought, and there's this charged feeling in the air. And it's almost like we were granted 2 extra weeks. Like, here's 2 free weeks. And when I have the mecha suit on of they control 1.5 trillion watts of fucking energy, then when I get up in the morning, I have to thank them for letting me see the sun. And I don't want to fucking do that. I do not want to give them that thing. Weather modification is real, but I do not get to pretend that this is a secret. The UAE seeds a morning rain every day. They drop particulates in a specified area, and that specified area turns into basically a humidifier. It's a trickle-down humidifier. The amount of watts of power inside of Hurricane Helene is basically, I think it comes out to like half of the entire planet's electrical output for every second that thing is running. Like, for every second. If you believe that they can do that with a machine, I don't know why you believe in anything, because I don't see the point in you going on. I don't know how to survive in the foxhole with you, but I still want to be in the room with you while you believe these things. It's like that. And I I want to be authentic with that. I don't want to feign that I believe this as much as you just so you will maybe consider my ideas too. It's a very selfish thing. And it's a selfish thing because I think this is what's necessary for you and I to build up our own mitochondria, our own batteries inside of our own hallucination, and use the community of each other to strengthen that thing. Like to strengthen that thing. We get to practice our rigging in front of each other. And I have a very subtle view about vaccines. My view about vaccines was informed before any of this even got here. I I went down this road long before we had even heard of COVID-19. And I don't think that I know it all. I've just simply found a very subtle perspective. It's so freaking weird, but it comes down to the power of one's own immunity. There is a slavery kind of immune system. This is what I believe. There's a slavery placebo. There's a placebo that exists that a slave mind would have, someone maybe who doesn't have a last name, someone who wouldn't have a credit score or a social security number, and wouldn't have a frontal lobe to think about what would happen to me if I stole that piece of fruit. A dog, you don't have to have a relationship with the dog where you expect that the dog would not take the open, non-witnessed piece of meat. That it would be quite natural for the dog if you walk past the kitchen and no one's around and there's a piece of ribeye there on the cutting board and he takes it. This is something that we would understand. We would love the dog and we would understand because there's not a frontal lobe to think that far ahead. If we think it's differently, it wouldn't work. So all of these things are rigging. All of these things are rigging that gets you into a place where you can render your reality. I know that my reality is not complete. I know that. I feel that I am only worthy of your attention if I authenticate my frequency. Does that make sense? That's the only reason why I get to be in your presence. If I maintain a frequency of 369, whatever it is, I'm not trying to say that's mine, but it is. If I maintain 369 frequency, you guys will find me reliable, not true, but reliable. Reliable for, I wonder what 369 would see to this. What would be that sort of perspective here? And that perspective, my perspective is that if I say that they have 1.5 trillion watts of power at their disposal in an instant, I don't know how to go on because I don't think birds are real. I wouldn't be able to think birds are real at that point. I'd be looking at something that has so much more power than nature itself that nature itself would simply crumble in comparison. Nature works for me because it is going to eat me. Nature works for me because it is going to swallow me and dissolve me. It's going to pull me into its dirt. It's going to slowly drop dust on me if I do nothing. That even that, it buries us naturally with dust every second. It's burying you. It's burying me. And if we want to insist that they is the nature too, I don't know why we would even need to be allied because there's nothing to defend. There's nothing to fight against. There's nothing to strive for. There's nothing to grow about. All we would do is have a contest to the bottom to decide which one of us feels more oppressed than the other one. That's the only way I would be able to stay in the foxhole, is by having to say these things. It doesn't mean that you're not being swallowed by Quetzalcoatl and that time itself is what you would hallucinate the digestive enzymes of a large snake, a large boa constrictor, digesting you through its guts of time, and that you're slowly being melted. Your skin is being peeled off of your skull, and your muscles are deteriorating at the muscle juices that are destroying who you are. You get to still think that. You do. But if that snake is controlled by they, and we've already admitted that they doesn't really have a name, but John Podesta is one of them, even if you don't think it's true with John Podesta, you still have to admit that this is really what it is. That we've gone around and we've decided it is Bill Gates, it is John Podesta, it is Hillary Clinton, but all of them are off limits. Because none of us would feel that it would be moral to wake up at 4 a.m. with ski masks on and go get John Podesta. Do you know why I know this? Because I don't fuck around with my beliefs. I don't just say, yeah, I believe that. Actually, I do. And I feel like shit for it because I can't sustain. And I think it's a lot like playing with a toy. I think that all your beliefs are basically like playing with toys. And I remember when I was young, a lead plane carried more weight. I was able to insert more prana into metal toys. Tonka really allowed me to associate what little metal was in that thing was able to absorb the charge of me and excavating and all the things that you do with the Tonka truck and the lead plane, especially the ones where either if the cockpit would open, oh my fuck, if the wheels would move, if the wings would fucking extend on the F-111, those things would torque my belief and take me into a deeper place that I could not get with a Barbie doll, that I could not get with other toys that other kids would play with. And why would beliefs not be the same thing? Why would the insistence in objective reality not just be a toy that everyone is given to play with? All of us have had pacifiers in our mouth. Why did we stop? Because I don't think we did. And I think you're tripping balls. I think it's fine to have pacifier in your mouth. You were tripping balls. And one of the reasons why I don't do mushrooms anymore is because I woke up and realized I am fucking tripping. I am tripping. I told myself, holy fuck. I've been looking around this place ever since going, I don't want to ruin this. And I started to notice all the mythological powers I had. Like all the things. And it's all present. It's all in the now. It's the deepest high I've ever been on. And it's made me write The Technology of Belief. This idea that your beliefs are playthings, and how well you play with things, I think, is directly proportional to the effectiveness, the utilitarianship of the toy itself, i.e. the belief, which is why when I put on the visor of they control the weather, I can't play that long. And tomorrow when we wake up, you're going to come back and I'm going to tell you something about nature. I'm being very specific here. You told me yesterday they control the weather, and you're going to come back tomorrow and you're not going to believe that anymore. And it's going to harsh my play vibe. I'm sorry. It is. I am looking for long ass immersive play. I am. I am not here to trip once a year when I go to Sewanee Music Park, right? I am here to wake up and go, oh my God. Did I wake up? Is this really where I am? And I have really gotten good at it. If you've noticed my comments, people are always accusing me of being on drugs. It's one of the best compliments I get because I'm just like, wow, I was like totally sober when I said that. And it's like, hey, just freaking go with it. I am a high maintenance child. I'm like, look, I don't know how to play with you because like 3 minutes ago you said they control the weather. And look at this fucking sunset. And I can't enjoy it because I'm just like, oh, thank you, bureaucracy, for bringing us this sunset. And then you're like, well, why are you doing that? You don't have to keep playing that. And I'm like, because I'm a tourist, bitch. I'm like syrup. My imagination is like syrup, okay? It's molasses. It takes a while. Man, it takes a while. Do you see what I'm saying? It takes a while. And I can't change on and be that nimble. I'm not saying that it's better. But, man, if you get in the dream couch with me and we start building dragons or we start rendering stories or we start telling tales, it's a wild fucking ride, man. And I think what makes it a wild ride is when you come back tomorrow, all the things, all the toys that we set up yesterday are still here. And I don't think that they're real. I think that these are highly sustainable toys that I'm letting you play with. Do you hear how arrogant that sounds? I'm letting you play with my toys right now. I'm telling you about airships. I'm telling you about all these things because these are toys that allow me to trip fucking balls 24/7. And so I push these things. And I'm not proud of this. I've punished Jeff, who I told at the beginning. I've punished him by putting him in timeout. I've done this before. I'm doing it now, but this time I'm telling you about it because before Helene hit, I did a special about Jesus in Egypt, and I told you about the Jews, and I even played the intro that I just played you earlier, where they're humping the wall. Mm-hmm. And that Jeff told me at the end of the stream how disappointed he was that I chose to ignore the recently exposed undercover baby torture basement underneath some sort of J word. I'm trying to make this through the algorithm here. Some sort of those people had just been exposed and that I'm not mentioning it. And he was John Podestaing me. He was John Podestaing me by saying, how dare you not talk about this? And I wrote Jeff back and I realized that, wait a minute, I've been in this same place with Jeff before. It sounds like I'm picking on Jeff. I'm sorry. I just want you to, I got nothing else to talk about. I freaking love Jeff. I really think you should check out his channel. But if no one is going to make this expensive in the truth movement, our toys are not going to last. They're not going to fucking last. And when he said that, I can't believe you didn't talk about the underground baby torture facility in New York City, and I wrote him back, my question is, what is the street address, Jeff? Are you there now? Are you en route? Do you need me to put out an all points bulletin on my channel so that people can meet you there, maybe at a local Starbucks around the corner? We could all muster, because this sounds like a pretty serious thing. This sounds like it's really important because you just told me that people were eating babies there, Jeff. And that the 3 or 4 weeks of reading and research that I put into my show about Jesus in Egypt is completely reduced because I had the nerve to romanticize fucking Luxor temple. And I told you how the Jews took the rituals from Luxor temple and created a tabernacle in the desert. I don't mind Jeff doing that because he does it all the time. But then Hurricane Helene hits, and there's not a response from Jeff going, yes, we're meeting at 7:15 in the morning. Here's the address, or here's a fucking link. He doesn't even put a link up so that I can share it with you. I'm supposed to go to bed swallowing the fact that I failed every one of you because I did not believe or did not report. By the way, I didn't even hear about this, but because I did not make aware the underground baby death temple. And I've discussed this, although it wasn't allowed to stay up, in direct relation to why the Epstein story is such a crucial tool that we can use to look at ourselves. That toy has it all. 6 feet long. This. My grandma bought me a cute little toy, right? Silver bells hanging on a string. He told me it was my ding-a-ling-a-ling. Oh my, this is Epstein. Oh my, this is Epstein, right? And that if you were drinking the salt, if you're eating the salt of that, by the way, now I got to take a sidebar because everything that happened in the Epstein story was reported by a single source inside the Miami Herald, inside Broward County, one of the worst political PSYOP central locations in the country, home of Sheriff Scott Israel, home of Debbie Wasserman Schultz, home of 2 PSYOP shootings, home of the very first and only quote claimed proof of the Zika virus, leading to 500 million estimated honeybees dying because of a spray program inserted. Also home to ground zero of the very first COVID positive test in the state of Florida. Every single thing, the genetically modified mosquito, came out of Broward County. Epstein, one single source at the Miami Herald, broke every fucking fact. And I know I'm blowing it. I'm ruining the toy. I'm doing to you what I told you that you are not allowed to do to me. You will not fuck with my toys, man. Do you see? It's hypocrites all the way down with me. It is. It is. We are playing with fire. We are playing with the technology of belief. And if I'm going to remain immersed in my imaginary state where I am tripping balls through reality, I'm going to need a ragtag band of playmates who were put on trial by the Army, and that we created the A-team. No, it doesn't have to be the A-team. It doesn't have to be. But that is who I am looking to play with, because that is what I need to survive. And this is where I have compassion for Jeff, because Jeff has orca consciousness. He has orca appetite. He wants to have reality drip with enough psilocybic or psychotropics to it that it feels digestible. It feels like a good meal. I want this too. As a monk, a psychedelic monk, I have lowered my need for salt to taste flavor. And I'm talking about spiritually. One of the reasons why I do not need to do psychedelics is because, thank God, I have a super high fidelity microphone. And I noticed that if I stop doing those things, this is a while ago, but if I stop doing those things, my microphone is just fucking fine. In fact, it's better than fine. I just simply need to tune into it. And I think what a lot of people call fibromyalgia, this feeling that you have where things are too sensitive, is you plugging into a 64K microphone and not realizing what you have now. Your ability to hallucinate does not require you to be on meth. It requires you to have an appetite that will be satisfactory to you. And you're going to find other people that are going to have that appetite. That appetite is what you call community. It's not the actual belief. I know it looks like beliefs, but the Republicans that are together are not together because it's Republican. It's there together because the appetite is the same. That's it. The beliefs themselves are pointless. They're as pointless as the toys that we pass around to each other. What's important is your engagement. How deeply can you engage in your hallucination? This is what I think. So when you get up and you see they control the weather, maybe they do. If it puts you in the right state to where you can sustain your hallucination longer, I say go for it, because I think the deeper you can immerse yourself inside the hallucination, the better you're going to be. Why? Because you're going to come back and report an authentic signal just like I do. It's simply going to be at your hertz, that's all. Like where you are physically at. That's really the only authenticity we need. At no point do we have to be right. At no point does one of us have to be right and the other people have to be wrong. I know that we like to think that, but that's actually not the point. When you play cops and robbers, you do not have to be right or wrong. In 2004, like within months, I think it was 5 months total. No, maybe it was like 3 months, 2 months. Hurricanes Charlie, Francis, and Jean came in 1 year. And they circumvented and met in a tiny triangle between Tampa and Bartow. And that place is inside the larger district called Winter Park. And the epicenter of that aim of 2004 was to destroy, I guess, the outskirts of Disney World. And if you control the weather, then you were knocking out Disney World. If they controlled the weather, they were trying to take out Disney World. And Disney World is the land of make-believe. I'm the only one telling you, you fucking control the weather. I'm sure there's other people. Sorry. But I'm the one who's leading with. I literally came from the storm. I came out of the storm. First post. Hey guys, you're controlling the weather. Can you try and stop? And the answer is no from Jeff. The answer is no. Because Jeff has not answered where we're going to meet to save the slave kids. And so Baal, the weather god, is going to punish us. Why? Because of the sarcastic tongue that Jeff employed to play last time. Why don't we play that? Why don't we play this? What? You guys don't want to play this game where we hold each other accountable for what we... Oh, come on. We can't do that? Why can't we do that? Come on. We can't do that? And the truth is we can do that, but we choose to do that based on how long we want to play, right? If we want to play with this. What you want is someone who's going to tell you they control the weather, but they're going to say that, then they're going to stop, and they're not going to bring it up for another 8 weeks. Then they're going to say it again. Because that would respirate your salt, your exasperation for that kind of thing, and someone like me maybe wouldn't notice it because I'm not the only one. Someone would not notice it and they go, okay, gotcha. It's cool. It's cool. So it's not that I think they are not bent on ruining your fucking day. It's that there's so many more energy efficient ways of ruining your day than 1.5 billion megawatts. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. And when I come to tell you about Article 1, Section 9 tomorrow, I have to compete with Jeff. When I tell you that, hey, if we look at the FBI profile of Jesus, I don't see anyone else doing this. Giving you the profile of Jesus based on the things that were told about him and how it shows you these footprints that whoever we're claiming would be Jesus would have to come through there. But I can't because babies were being eaten the night before. And I'm the fucking asshole because I'm not driving up to New York to do it. Do you see where I'm going with this? The point is not to change this. The point is not to change this, but if we are going to keep playing with the toy that government is broken, I need you all to stop complaining. Because the more you complain about the job theme is doing, the more they get to come back and do it worse. Because people will think, people will believe that we can fix this with more, that we can make this more. And this is the more salt adage, not the less. If Kamala Harris could not tell everybody, don't worry, no one help. We're gonna send them all $750. What if instead she was to say, the American citizens are some of the most generous people I've ever known. And one of the things that we can always count on is each other. You would turn a backwards engine that runs on guilt because the monopoly of charity is government. Government is the monopoly of charity. They've come in with guns and they've said, we're in charge of charity. And your parents and my parents said, I love this system. I don't have to fucking be nice to anyone now because the government's going to do it. In fact, I'd be irresponsible. I've already given them 45% of my resources, so I don't have to do anything else. It's a win-win. Because that's another kind of toy. It's another toy that people play with, that belief that I'm a Republican and it matters, or I'm a liberal and it matters, and you're going to vote harder next time, and the lesser of two evils is somehow morally good. All the shit that comes with playing with that toy has led to us needing a system where we need more salt, and that's what Pizzagate is. It's more salt. It's more seasoning, it's more salt. That's what they control the weather is. And ultimately, I know that all of our power lies in your hallucination, because all of us could wake up and understand the true value of presenting the sovereign citizen notion, for example. That if enough people were saying, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? Citizen? What are you talking about? Or I don't understand. What do you mean taxes? I don't know. I just didn't know. I don't know what you mean. What do you mean? Like that. And that this is our truest power. We have this power already because we demand that certain things like parking and signs and book returns and fucking traffic signals and literally we've reduced our calendar from a lunar calendar to a sun calendar because people are like, it's hard. Dude, don't make me count moons. Oh, fuck. I don't know when Easter is. Fuck. He says 3 moons and you carry the moon. You carry the crescent. If the crescent is adjacent to the full moon of the equinox, then Easter, it's like, fuck that, dude. Just give me a date. And if we can change our own calendar, if we can change our own center, if we can change our own pole simply because one belief is easier than the other, what makes you think we stop there? What makes us, any of us, think that, oh, well, I'm sure we stopped there and now we're doing it differently? I don't want you to find the truth. I want you to find the belief that impresses me. Do you understand? I want you to show off in the most kick ass rigging I've ever seen and come in with your vessel and outshine me and show me how to fucking sail through this reality. I want to see your Dawn Treader. I want to see that whole glory. I want to drool at how incomplete I have been this whole time because I never thought to hold your belief. This is what I want. This is my quest. I know that the winner is anyone but me. I know that because it's the only way I can find better and better beliefs. If you enter into this mode, things start to change. Everything about your reality changes. You become more responsible for everything, but also the magic comes in all the time. I think it's magic that these chainsaw dudes showed up today. I didn't know what I was going to do. My biggest concern was my neighbor cannot get in his driveway because of a tree that's on my street. That to me was my second biggest issue is my bedroom window. You might think it should be the other way, but that's just how I am. I have a sheet over my bedroom window. It's not that big of a deal. I could use some towels, but I'm getting towels tomorrow. I can't fucking wait. Ugh. So, and I'll be getting to the window. It's the point is that when you see a wandering band of chainsaw minstrels, minstrels, yeah. It's so weird that minstrels and minstrate. We'll have to do a show. Why would I do a show about that, James? Why would you do a show with it? We should probably go. The point is that when you associate into the land, you are listening for these smells. Those guys know where to go. They're meth heads too. I'm a meth head. You're a meth head. And we find each other to hallucinate these things, man, I just want you to have a deeper experience. I don't want you to be right. I want you to have a deeper experience. I think that we should play longer, not shorter. Like those of you who dare to call yourselves artists or creators or whatever, it doesn't matter. You are entering into flow state. And I think that flow state is your natural course of being. And you were there when you were 11. It was the retards around you that said to stop. And so because of that, we've had to adopt playing in a serious way. So we call them beliefs and tenets, and we think one of them's right and one of them's wrong. And it's a competitive sport now. It's a full contact sport. And it doesn't have to be. And we're getting there. We're getting there. Thank you for being here today. I'm going to sign off. I appreciate you. And have yourself a wonderful day. James Drew out. Oh, yeah, whoa. Oh, sorry. So, what do I do about people like Jeff? Like, what do I do? Because if you were going to tell me that children are being eaten, I'm gonna want to play with. Your imagination is important to me. And I don't know how to play with that, Jeff, if you're listening, Jeff. And I hope you don't hear this. It does. I'm sorry if it does. This is what you get, though, for saying shit like this. And I'm probably the only one in the truth movement who's like, hey, can we fucking own this shit for a sec? Because when I came back from a storm, you told me that they did the weather, and you scolded me for not admitting that, too. But you forgot that you didn't tell me about the kids. When are we going to go save them? Because how the fuck am I supposed to take you seriously about they control the weather when you're letting that slide? Jeff is not alone in this. No, you shouldn't have heard him. It's not necessary for you to have heard him. It's not. Guys, this isn't even about, you're probably going to hear it as anti that, and that's fine. I'm so tired of the binary. It's fine. Whatever you need to do, whatever you need to think about it is true. But if we're gonna create beliefs together, and I think that's how we change the fucking world, man. This is what it's all about. This is our immunity. We build life rafts together and connect through this thing. I'm looking for semi-professional animizers. That's it. You know. Anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. That'd be good. And we'll get back to the more stuff. I'm really uh, yeah, it's cool. I think Jeff can grow from this because I appreciate the appetite. I think that people in the conspiracy market have a deeper appetite for reality, and I'm gonna asphyxiate if I don't stick around you guys. Do you understand? I should go, but it's like seriously, I will asphyxiate around normies. It may not seem like you're my homies because I'm like, dude, I can't believe, literally, I can't believe that they control that much weather. I, I, I believe nature can. I believe nature will, I think nature will kick your fucking ass. I think right now, nature, boom, someone just got killed right now because of nature. Like right the fuck now. And it's indiscriminate as it's discriminate. I think it's a really powerful thing. And I've seen this happen with forest fires. I've seen this, where a forest fire will miss a certain house and hit another one. I think that this is more real. And personally, I think that you're phoning it in by saying they control the weather because that means it's under control. You don't need to believe that, but I think I got kind of a point there. I think I do. I think there's sort of a point there. So, I'm a bigot. I am. I'm picking on certain beliefs. But I want to play tomorrow. And I want to trip balls.